Tell me it isn't true. After decades as serving as royalty, symbolizing the epitome of the perfect protein source, the crown may be taken away. Move over chicken, I should say, or actually move over chicken and make room for beef. Hi, my name is Bonnie London, and after nearly 30 years of working to inspire individuals as a personal trainer and then a dietitian, it is my goal to provide you with the latest tricks to achieve your personal weight or health goals. Now, in today's video, I am going to review what research has to say, not just about chicken, but rather what our chicken has been fed and why you might want to reconsider it as a healthy option. Shocking as this all is, let me break down for you the mounting research connecting the introduction of seed oils into the human food supply around the late 1800s with the astronomical rise of obesity and the modern day chronic diseases that go along with it, such as heart disease, diabetes, and cancer. Now, these industrial seed oils, which are highly processed, such as soybean oil, corn oil, and canola oil, again, were not part of our food supply and really until the last century. And it really began significantly with a Mr. Procter and Mr. Gamble, whose main product at this time was cottonseed oil, but it was displaced by the discovery of oil. And they discovered that, they could hydrogenate the cottonseed oil, which up to then was going to just be a toxic waste product, and they could transform it into something that looked like lard, and they could sell it for cooking. And this was the birth of Crisco, and the beginning of a major shift in a source of fat in our diets. Now, it was not long after that, that the meat industry realized that if they could feed their animals grains instead of grass, they were able to gain weight faster, creating higher yield and, of course, larger profits. In addition, these grains are subsidized by the government, making them even cheaper and more appealing. So if you've ever noticed the increasingly marbling of a ribeye steak or the big size of the chicken breast, you might want to know that these animals, they're not just fat, but they are insulin resistant and sick. So clearly, it really is much more important in this modern era to think about not just what you're eating, but what we are eating is eating. Now, of all of the animals, including fish as well, farm-raised fish, poultry apparently, because of its makeup, has the highest concentration of this dangerous kind of omega-6 fatty acid called linoleic acid. This is the predominant polyunsaturated fat, or PUFA, which is also prevalent in sunflower oil, safflower oil, soybean, corn, and canola oils. So how do these fats actually contribute to obesity? Well, for one thing, your body has to get them from your diet because it is unable to manufacture them. So it's going to take whatever you consume and make it part of your cell membrane, which has many, many critical roles, such as regulating inflammation, immunity, blood vessels, platelets, cellular growth. Now, we understand that these particular fats become actually part of your fat cells, making them more sensitive to insulin, which in this case is a bad thing, because then these cells are able to actually store more fat in them, which has been linked to slowing down your metabolism and also increasing your appetite because of the calories going into the fat cells. So guess what? Just like the animals, we're able to gain weight, particularly fat, even faster, and lose weight slower. Well, what about heart disease? We have been told that switching to heart-healthy vegetable oils lowers LDL cholesterol, which was supposed to translate to lowering of risk of heart disease and heart attacks and death. But what actually has happened when we replace saturated fat and linoleic acid is, yes, absolutely, we have gotten lower LDL cholesterol, but higher risk of overall mortality. In fact, there are 2 now famous studies that demonstrated this exact result, the Minnesota Coronary Experiment and the Sydney Heart Study. And they both demonstrated that when they replaced saturated fat with linoleic acid, it lowered LDL cholesterol, but increased overall mortality. And the suggestion of explaining this is that there is a link between the linoleic acid and increasing inflammation, which is a known underlying cause of heart disease. Also, because these polyunsaturated fats are more vulnerable to oxidation, this also is another risk factor for developing heart disease. Okay, it's not that we are taking soybean oil and pouring it on all of our food, but it's rather that all of our processed food supply right now is inundated with soy, protein, concentrate, canola oil, everything else. Just take a look at the packages, and it's of course what they're feeding our animals, and then it's what a lot of restaurants use in the back to cook their foods, and they put in dressings and sauces. So what action steps can you take today to shift your intake of fats to more healthy fats to support your weight and health goals? Number 1, yes, I am going to say to limit your poultry, even the turkey, because it is similar in structure to the chicken, and even organic is still corn-fed. So I didn't say eliminate, I said decrease. Okay, next, limit your intake of conventional raised beef, pork, and farm-raised fish or seafood. Processed meat alternatives, of course, like the Impossible Burger, also contain a lot of soy, corn, and canola oil. Number 2, be aware of bottled salad dressings because they are frequently made with canola or soybean oil. Try to limit or avoid, if you can, the processed foods that are frequently made with soy, corn, canola, etc. And definitely try to push in healthy sources of omega-3, such as wild fish, grass-fed meats, pasture-raised chicken eggs or other eggs. And if you're going to use a meat alternative, try to stick within the natural source, such as non-GMO fermented tofu once in a while, for example, would be a better option. And also eating more hemp nuts, chia seeds, some walnuts, and flax. So the final takeaway here is the more that you can focus on consuming foods closer to their natural state, the more likely you will just naturally get less of the fats that you don't want or need, and more of the ones that you do need. And if you do eat animals, choose animals that are lean and healthy like you want to be. Now, if you have found this video helpful, please like, share, comment, subscribe, ring the bell, and be notified of each new video. Now, also, if you're interested in discussing your personal situation, there is a link in the description below to book a no-cost call, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.